and welcome back. In this video, I'm excited to walk you through building a fully responsive Flutter admin dashboard. As you can see in the design done in Figma, this admin panel includes various charts and sections, is implemented in both dark and light modes, and intended to implement all the parts you see in the video. So let's dive right in. For implementation, I created an empty project and exported the necessary images and files from Figma and added them to the project. And as you can see, I added the assets folder to the pubspec.yaml file, and I've also installed the necessary package for icons, fonts, charts, and other requirements. Then I created a Qubit class to handle the app's theme and manage the dark and light modes of the app's theme through this Qubit file. And as you can see in the video, I implemented classes for projects, colors, theme, and typography. I implemented these classes according to the design I showed you in Figma. And as you can see at the end of the theme file, I created some extensions for easier access to the project's typography. And here, as you can see, I created a page for the dashboard. Now I clean up the extra code and start implementing the project. First, I create the app bar for small devices like mobile. For this, I had already added an app bar class to the project, which I'll now call and start implementing its required parameters. To manage the spacing and breakpoints of the project, I added a class called daemons to the project. You can see the variables defined in it, and I will use each of these variables as needed throughout the project. And now, as you can see, I implemented a stateless class for the search bar according to the Figma design. I call and use it, and I'll also show you the other components I used to implement the search bar. According to the Figma design, I used the Font Awesome Flutter package for the icons, and here, as you can see, I wrote methods to check the light and dark status of the project and used them. And finally, I set the height of the app bar and reload the project so you can see the result. Alright, now let's add the user profile picture and the message icon section. First, I'll add a custom icon button widget. And now in the actions section, I'll call the class I added and pass the bell icon to it. Very well. And now I'll add another class for the user's profile picture. And as you can see, I had already added the user's image to the project. Now I'll call and use the class I just added and reload the project again so you can see the result. Alright, now let's implement the driver menu section. For this, I'll add a new stateless class to the project and then show you its different parts one by one. As you can see, I created a list of navigation destination, and according to the options we had in the Figma design, set the labels and icons. And I implemented the menu using the navigation driver widget. Now I go back to the dashboard page, call the class we built, pass it to the driver parameter and reload the project so you can see the result. Alright, now let's implement the app bar and driver sections for larger screen size devices. As you can see in the utils directory, in a method called check device size, I implemented several methods to check what device size the app is running on. I will use these methods later to fix and handle responsive issues. Now I go back to the previous class, add a scroll widget, inside it, add a row widget, and now I add an expanded widget to the column widget. And now I call the isLarge desktop size method and check if the app is running on large devices, then the large app bar widget should be shown to the user. This widget has a different layout than the small app bar widget, which I will show you next. And now, using the method I introduced to you for large device sizes, I intended to show the driver menu as fixed. So as you can see in the video, I'm doing this. I reload the project so you can see the result of the work up to this point. As you can see, there is a small issue. To fix this issue, I set the default width of the vertical divider widget to 0 and reload the project again. Very well, now let's implement the section for filtering based on various dates. For this, first I add a widget called app dropdown button, and as the name suggests, it implements the button on the right for filtering based on a date range, the structure of which you can see in the video. Alright, now in the widgets directory, I add another stateless class. This class implements the date filtering located on the left side. And now, as you can see, I add the previous widget to this widget with the condition that it should not be displayed on mobile devices. I go back to the dashboard page, call the classes we built together, and finally reload the project. Now let's implement the section related to the overall statics together. For this, first I add a class that implements the static cards. According to the design, it receives the title, amount, and other parameters and displays them. And as you can see, it has the capability to show whether the status is decreasing or increasing. Alright, now I create a new file for the statics section. I import the material package and create a stateless class with the same name as the file. Now I place a sizebox widget and set its height. Then inside it, first I call a scrollbar widget and set its required parameters to have a horizontal scrollbar. And now I place a horizontal list view and add the static cards to it according to the design. And now I go back to the dashboard page, call the classes we built together, and finally reload the project so you can see the result. Alright, now let's implement the customer growth section. In this section, to implement the world map part, I use the countries world map package. You can find information about this package on the pub.dev repository. To implement this section, I first place a padding with horizontal spacing. Then inside it, I'll add a column widget and set the spacing between its items. Now I create a new file in widgets directory. I import the material package and create a stateless class with the same name as the file. I create the shaded container widget and set its internal padding. Then again, I place a column widget and then add the items related to the top part of this section. Now I place a sizebox widget, set its height, and then start implementing the map widget and set its required parameters. Now let's implement the widget that shows the progress rate for each country. In the widgets directory, I add a new widget that receives the title, image, and progress rate and displays the received information according to the design. And finally, I place a row widget, set its main axis alignment parameter, and call the widget we just created based on information related to the different countries and use it. Now I go back to the dashboard page, call the widget we built together and reload the project. And now you can see the result. Now let's implement the revenue growth section. I'll create a new directory for the main sections and move the widgets related to the main sections to this part. And create a new widget for the revenue growth section and add it to the dashboard class. Very well, now let's implement the widget for the transactions chart. For this, I can create a new widget and use the FLchart package. As you can see in this package to implement this section. You can refer to the pub.dev repository for more information and familiarity with this package. Now let's implement the widget that indicates which bar in the chart is for the website and which is for the application. For this, I again add a new widget. This widget takes the title and color parameters and display the information according to the design. Now I go back to the previous class and add a new widget to it. And finally, I reload the project again so you can see the result of this section as well. Alright, now let's implement the sales overview section. As you can see in the video, another type of chart is used in this section, which is called a pie chart or a donut chart. To implement this chart, I also use the FLchart package. To implement this section, first I create a new file and add the required class and also the codes related to the top part to it. And now I go back to the dashboard class and add the class I built to it. And now I go back to the previous class and first place a layout builder widget. Then inside it, I add a row widget and set its main axis alignment parameter. And now I create a new widget related to the pie chart I talked about, and you can see its codes. As you can see, I've set the height and width of this widget to different values for different screen sizes. Often to implement a design responsively, sometimes it is necessary to use the different dimensions for some specific widgets. Now I go back to the previous class and add the chart we built to it, and then I continue implementing the other parts of this section. now let's implement the latest order section. To implement this section, like the previous sections, I will add the codes related to the top of the section, then create a new class to implement the table and implement the table for the orders list using Flutter's data table widget. Excellent. Now let's make the sections responsive and fix the existing issues. First, in the top row widget, I set its cross-axis alignment parameter to start to fix the drawer menu issue. And now I'll add a new widget called responsive layout to the project. This widget automatically changes the layout based on the screen width. Its structure is such that if the app is running on mobile or tablet devices, it displays the list of widgets it receives in a columnar manner. Otherwise, it displays them in a row. Okay, now I go back to the previous class and call the widget I added and use it as you see in the video. And now I add a method. This method checks different sizes within itself. And if the app is running on a mobile or tablet size, it returns the screen width. If the app is running on a desktop size screen, it returns approximately half the screen width, and for larger desktops, it returns half a screen width, minus 176. The number 176 is because the driver menu is also shown on the left side. And now I use the method I added. And now I place vertical and horizontal spacing between the sections so that whether they are displayed in a row or a column, there is a space between them. And finally, I reload the project again so you can see the final result of the project, which is fully responsive. Thank you for the time you took to watch the video. I will put the project code on GitHub and add the GitHub link in the project description section. If you have any comment or question, be sure to ask me in the comment section. And if you haven't subscribed to channel, please don't forget to subscribe. And if you like the video, please like it. I will see you again in the next videos.